Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the latest news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the team's most passionate fans. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. Commanders' chaos reaches fever pitch, but Marshon Lattimore isn't backing down. Marshon Lattimore remains confident amid the turmoil. Marshon Lattimore has drawn harsh criticism once again this season. The cornerback has had some good moments, but the Washington Commanders expected much more from this substantial investment. Lattimore can be a genuine ball-blocking presence when he's in the mood. He's also a liability against faster wide receivers, displaying a lack of explosiveness and poor technique, which often results in defensive holding penalties. It's a bad combination, and the Commanders' secondary is suffering as a result. The former Ohio State standout isn't the only player struggling to find consistency, but he's held to a higher standard. However, amid all the scathing criticism from analysts and fans, Lattimore remains defiant. Marshon Lattimore emphasizes confidence in the Commanders' secondary to turn things around. He knows what the problem is. He's also extremely confident that the Commanders have enough talent to get out of this slump and fix these growing problems. And he hopes that happens as soon as possible. We just need to find a way to contain the explosives. A lot of it is being overly aggressive at certain times or disrupting the coverage. Things we have to solve ourselves. They run the same play 3 weeks in a row and have a counterattack in week 4. Watch the players in the room. We know we're good. We just need to execute the decisions and execute our techniques. We're not at a disadvantage because we know what kind of players we have in a room. We just need to fix what we need to fix. Talk is cheap, especially since the same problems crop up almost every week. The lack of spatial awareness. The inability to effectively adapt to pre-snap movements. And that's not even counting the discipline issues in critical moments. Lattimore knows he should be playing better. He's a highly competitive individual who will work hard to correct some of the flaws that have crept into his game. The reins are getting shorter, but the Commanders don't have the luxury of taking the 4-time Pro Bowler out of the lineup, even if they wanted to. Washington is dealing with too many injuries to do so. So Lattimore and everyone else in the team's underperforming secondary need to step up and show the determination to get things back on track. This should be an area of strength heading into the season. The Commanders' offensive weapon is becoming a star before the eyes of fans. He's coming of age to silence the doubters. The Washington Commanders lost to the Atlanta Falcons in week 4, and there weren't many bright spots to highlight. But the development of a young player has become a promising sign. The Commanders are decimated by injuries, especially on offense. At wide receiver, Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown are out, giving youngsters Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane opportunities to shine. McCaffrey, for the second consecutive game, reached the end zone. After not scoring touchdowns in his first 19 starts, he now has 2 in as many weeks. The Commanders are finally seeing Luke McCaffrey's growth at the right time. In addition to his second-quarter score, McCaffrey had a 58-yard kick return early in the Commanders' next drive. Had he not been tackled by the last defender, that play likely would have gone the distance as well. WR Luke McCaffrey recorded 199 kickoff return yards in yesterday's game. McCaffrey's 199 kickoff return yards represent the most by any NFL player in 2025 and the most by any NFL player since Deebo Samuel Sr. 208 in Week 13 of the 2024 season. His 199 kickoff return yards were Washington Commanders PR at @wash_PR, September 29, 2025. Suffice it to say, McCaffrey has officially arrived. In just 4 games this season, he has already accumulated more than half of last year's 168 receiving yards and a third of his 18 receptions. McCaffrey also caught a 2-point conversion in Washington's loss to the Green Bay Packers in Week 2. McCaffrey faced significant criticism during his rookie year and during the 2025 preseason, when he struggled to make an impact. Some even floated his name as a potential surprise cut candidate, which, in retrospect, was simply ridiculous. The 2024 third-round pick comes from a strong NFL pedigree. You've probably heard of his brother, Christian McCaffrey, and is still relatively new to the wide receiver position. He played quarterback at Nebraska and Rice before switching positions before the 2022 season. He's still learning. Commanders bet on bold signing to overcome injury crisis. This was a surprise. It's no secret that the Washington Commanders are dealing with an injury crisis. Dan Quinn is adapting to the challenges, trying to ride the wave and minimize the damage to the team's overall aspirations. Adam Peters is developing contingency plans to deal with the injuries that keep coming. The Commanders are thin at receiver heading into Week 5. Noah Brown has been out for some time after a summer of health issues. To make matters worse, second-team All-Pro wide receiver Terry McLaurin is currently sidelined with a quadriceps injury. Quinn said all the injured players were looking up. Peters isn't taking any chances, and a notable signing before Week 5 preparations against the Los Angeles Chargers pick up steam is another example of that. The Commanders are reportedly signing Robbie Chosen to their practice squad. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Commanders have reportedly signed Robbie Chosen to their practice squad. He's the artist formerly known as Robbie Anderson. For those who haven't been keeping track, Chosen seemed to have a prolific career in store. He surpassed 1,000 receiving yards for the Carolina Panthers in 2020, earning a new contract for his efforts. It wasn't long before things took a turn for the worse, due to the firing of his former college coach, Matt Rule. The former Temple star and Carolina's interim head coach, Steve Wilks, clashed immediately. They nearly came to blows on the sideline against the Los Angeles Rams, and the receiver was traded to the Arizona Cardinals less than 24 hours later. He didn't last long in Arizona before transferring to the Miami Dolphins. Chosen spent 2 seasons with the AFC East club, but didn't play a prominent role in the passing attack. He was recently released from the San Francisco 49ers practice squad, and the receiver now has the opportunity to establish himself in Washington. Chosen performed electrifyingly at the peak of his career. He's an explosive receiver with enough speed to stretch the field. He's also skilled at catching passes over the middle and gaining big yards when the opportunity arises. While he's not the force he once was, it's not taking the Commanders long to see if he still has something up his sleeve. This suggests that Brown and/or McLaurin may not be on the field again this weekend, and possibly even beyond. The chosen one should be in shape to impact results immediately, but time is of the essence. He may ultimately be an insurance policy. Time will tell, but Chosen will be eager to make a good impression.